Hi, my name is Paula Kennedy. I'd like to describe my open source journey. So, I'd describe my journey with open source as being long and winding. I started my career back in 2000 and was very much embedded in a closed source world. From my school and university days, I was very used to using proprietary office software from Microsoft, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, where you had to go out, you had to buy physical CDs to upgrade, and then have a license key to be able to use them. My first job out of university was with IBM, which then got me using the Lotus Smart Suite software, which was also very much closed source. After leaving IBM in 2002, I joined a small startup building insurance broking software that was cloud-based. It's funny because in those days we were called an ASP, an application service provider, but these days it's basically software as a service. I was part of that startup for nearly 10 years. And even though we worked with many insurance companies, insurance brokers and finance providers to build some really innovative stuff for the time, such as electronically traded insurance products and premium finance, all of that innovation and that collaboration still led to code that was very much closed source. And so for me, up to around 2012, it felt like that was the way the world worked. If you wanted to build a business making software, you had to keep your code a closely guarded secret and sell licenses for people to use it. My first glimpse into how things could be different came towards the end of 2012 when I co-founded my own startup, Cloud Credo, with a couple of very smart people who showed me the light. Our business was focused around an open source technology called Cloud Foundry, which was announced in 2011 as an open source project. It came out of VMware and later led to the formation of the Cloud Foundry Foundation under the umbrella of the Linux Foundation. The original goal of the Cloud Foundry Foundation, along with driving awareness and adoption of Cloud Foundry, was also to grow a community of contributors and to create an open and coherent governance strategy. As we were one of the original founding members of that foundation, we got to see how a number of organizations from big to small, from established global enterprises to tiny startups, could all work together on one open software project. And from that point onwards, basically for the last 10 years, I've not looked back and have continued to be part of companies that have an open source strategy and actively contribute code to the community of which they are a part. But for me personally, open source is not just about how much code you contribute, it's also very much about the community that you foster and how people can participate to help each other to learn and grow and contribute. Back in June 2013, I ran my first ever meetup, and I was honestly terrified. I remember trying to plan all the logistics as well as trying to make sure people would actually show up. And then when it happened, and we had about 15 people, I was so nervous I basically hid at the back and didn't want to talk to anyone. But after that meetup, I actually felt proud that I'd been able to bring a group of people together to talk and to share ideas and to learn. And from that point, my confidence grew. I started running meetups every month for a while and ended up actually enjoying them. And then from 2014, I started doing public speaking myself. And even though I was terrified of that initially, I ended up really enjoying it and being able to share stories with people. And since those days, I've been lucky to be a part of some amazing communities. In 2017, I was asked to help organise DevOps Days London, which led me to meet some fantastic people and run an event where we focused on being as accessible and welcoming to anyone working or interested in DevOps. More recently, I've become involved in the Kubernetes community, another open source technology that sits within the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, also part of the Linux Foundation. Through this community engagement, I've seen firsthand the power of individuals and teams collaborating together, regardless of their company, to achieve great things. And I've also seen how companies can flourish in open source and strike a balance between collaborating and openly sharing their products and still making sustainable revenue and profits. I can't ever imagine going back to a company which is closed source. I can only see a future which has a company strategy which is significantly based around open source.